Assalamualaikum everyone, this is Ayesha from CxO Global Forum, a knowledge sharing platform for all the C-levels across Pakistan and around the globe. Every time we're having some very interesting guests with us today as well. We have Mr. Rizwan with us, who is the head of IT at Bachaa Party. Assalamualaikum sir, कैसे हैं आप?
वालेकुम अस्सलाम अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह जी आई एम फाइन
सही सर, it is 5 p.m. in Pakistan. अभी तक आपका दिन कैसा रहा?
अभी तक obviously it's Monday. It starts with checking all everything around कि जी के logs are correct, getting information from my different colleagues कर रहे हैं. And since we are a retail concern, it's sort of a banking and live computing thing ना. तो
Right.
we have to keep our things very connected, and every log has to be watched. Everyone has to be very on their toes so that when the stores gets open तो उनको जो है वो streamline मिले, बिल्कुल जो है
बिल्कुल सही.
जो सिस्टम है up and running मिले जी.
सही, राइट. तो सर, बिफोर वी स्टार्ट मैं चाहूँगी कि आप खुद एक दफ़ा अपना एक शॉर्ट सा इंट्रोडक्शन दे दीजिए कि हु बेसिकली मिस्टर मोहम्मद रिजवान इज़.
जी बिल्कुल. Currently I am heading an retail concern here in Pakistan. और रिटेल जो है ये किड्स फैशन को डिटेल जो है एड्रेस करती है. सोशो इकोनॉमिक सेगमेंट जो है ये बड़ा जो है लेस इलास्टिक है, इफ़ यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड. तो इसके अंदर जो है वो बहुत ज़्यादा कंज्यूमर मौजूद है, लाइक FMCG. इसके अंदर भी इसेंशियल्स मौजूद हैं कि लोग अपने लिए कपड़ा नहीं लेते हैं लेकिन अपने बच्चों के लिए ज़रूर लेते हैं. तो व्हेन द बिजनेस गोइंग एट सच अ फास्ट पेस तो फिर हमें जो है वो टेक्नोलॉजी को भी उसी तरह रेडी रखना होता है. सो इट वाज अ वेरी गुड न्यू थिंग टू डू फॉर मी, सिंस इससे पहले मैं जो हूँ 10 साल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में रहा, एंड आई वाज वर्किंग एज हेड ऑफ द IT दे IS दे फॉर डॉलर इंडस्ट्रीज, जो कि पेन एंड पेंसिल्स की जो है वो मास मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में होती है. उससे पहले मैं यूनिपार्क में था, एंड बिफोर दैट 12 इयर्स में डिफरेंट रोल्स के अंदर स्टॉक एक्सचेंज के साथ जो है मुंसलिक रहा हूँ, विच इज़ अ सर्विस इंडस्ट्री. तो आई स्टार्टेड एज अ person who is solving problems for service industry and computing there, जो कि live data था. Then I came to manufacturing, and now again I have moved towards the live data so that online data जो है वो सही तरीके से cater कर सके business को. Future जो I would like to induct generative AI into this पर्टिकुलर, क्योंकि जो है रिटेल इंडस्ट्री बहुत ज़्यादा एनालिसिस पे और डिसीजन मेकिंग, डेटा ड्रिवन डिसीजन मेकिंग को एम्फसाइज करती है. तो दिस CEO and me both were interested, and we discussed about bringing generative AI or AI in particular to the business so that we make those decisions जो कि हमें AI जिसके ऊपर ऑप्शंस दे, and we are working on that. तो ये रिजवान है जी फॉर यू.
राइट. तो सर, मैं आपसे यहाँ पे एक सवाल पूछना चाहूँगी कि आपको अपनी लाइफ में किस पॉइंट पे पता चला कि यू आर मोर इंटरेस्टेड इनटू द टेक्नोलॉजी और आप इसमें अपनी आप अपना करियर इस फील्ड के अंदर चूज करेंगे?
बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग है. आई नेवर वांटेड टू बी अ IT प्रोफेशनल बिकॉज द एरा आई कम फ्रॉम इन अर्ली 90s, उस वक्त IT एज अ फील्ड विथ सच अ हायर सक्सेस रेट, या आप समझ लें कि इन अ लीडरशिप पोजीशन नहीं देखा जैसे कि आज है ना. तो आई वांटेड टू बी आइदर, हमारे ज़माने में जो है लोग डॉक्टर बनना चाहते थे या इंजीनियर बनना चाहते थे, तो आई वाज मोर प्रोन टुवर्ड्स द मेडिकल स्टडीज. मगर somehow this field found me, and when I was studying in first year I got my first project, since I was one of the lucky ones who did computing in school in 80s. So my schooling is in 80s, so I got the chance to do some development in late 80s from my school. So I was automatically selected by, if you remember, CPLC. At that time used to be in Governor's House by and headed by Nazim Haji and Jamil Yusuf Sir. They called me for the first project, and that is how this field started finding me. But even doing that project, I was not that much into computing and IT profession till I did my graduation. It was late 90s that I personally thought, okay, since I have been doing this and I'm good at it, and I'm not good at the studies of medical and pre-medical, so
Hmm.
I then shifted towards professionally doing the IT business.
राइट राइट ओके तो सर इस फील्ड में आपको इतना टाइम हो गया है एंड आपको क्या लगता है कि जो लोग इस फील्ड में हैं उनके अंदर कौन सा ऐसा स्किल सेट है जो होना ज़रूरी है टू बी इन द कंप्यूटिंग फील्ड
सीधी ये जो है ना इनोवेटिव फील्ड है. And as I said, in my early career, I started as a coder. Then I did the system analyst thing and the business analyst thing and then consulting. So curiosity is the main core ingredient of this particular field.
राइट
We used to talk back then, and we are talking now even that if you are not curious about learning, if you are not curious about finding the solutions to the problem, then this field is not for you. You have to be curious about finding and solving problems. So this is my net that the innovation requires curiosity like a child, and
डेफिनेटली
you have to be very curious about finding solution to the answers, about knowing things. Yes.
राइट राइट तो सर अनदर क्वेश्चन दैट आई वुड वांट टू आस्क हियर आपने कहा था कि आपने बहुत शुरू-शुरू में यू स्टार्टेड जब इतना कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं होता था आईटी का। तो शुरू में व्हेन यू स्टार्टेड योर करियर आपको ऐसे कौन से चैलेंजेस देखने को मिले जिनको आपने फिर फेस किया और फिर आपने उनको ओवरकम किया?
वेल इनिशियली अगर मैं आपसे बात करूं तो वो ये था कि लर्निंग एंड अपॉर्चुनिटीज ऑफ लर्निंग एंड एक्सेस टू इंफॉर्मेशन अबाउट टेक्नोलॉजी वो बहुत रेयर थी. This was the
राइट,
main challenge. We used to go and buy books and learn from those books. Because internet was not that much available in those times, right? We used to buy books and we had to get ourselves access to those information, those new technology by reading journals, by reading new magazines about the technology, and then used to adopt and then used to learn those technologies and then used to discuss them on our forums. Chat groups were there, so we used to learn from there. We used to exchange code there, but this was the main difficulty. But nowadays, it is very easy in that sense to access to information. Now nobody has the excuse of that I cannot learn. I do not have access to resources. You have YouTubes, you have other mediums to learn. So now you can
डेफिनेटली।
learn easily.
राइट तो सर मैं यहाँ पे आपसे एक छोटा सा सवाल करना चाहूँगी कि आपके कोई मेंटर्स या रोल मॉडल्स जिनको आप इंडस्ट्री में स्टेप इन कर रहे थे उन्होंने आपको अपील किया या अभी के लिए कोई रोल मॉडल्स आपके हों विच यू आर लुकिंग अप टू
You always have a model, and that model for me was Shams Naveed, my mentor and one of my best friends. We started as colleagues working in EdTech Pakistan, and then it he became since I was reporting to him, he became my mentor. No?
बिल्कुल
So
सही
and he was the head of IT initially at Hinobag. So he was the person who inspired me, his way of working, his way of thinking. Even now, more recently, I was talking to him and I said that since the technology is evolving in such a pace, what would be your solution or your answer to that particular thing? So he said, very simplistic way, that I'll go back and do the Pascal thing, the coding that was done back in 90s, and then I'll make my life more simple. So I always follow him, and I always listen to him, and I always see him as my mentor.
राइट सर ओके तो सर अगर आप अभी आज मतलब खड़े होकर यू लुक बैक एट योर जर्नी तो उसमें से आपको ऐसी कौन सी अकॉम्प्लिशमेंट अपनी सबसे ज़्यादा पसंद होगी जो आप यहाँ पे मेंशन करना चाहेंगे
Well, developing my first software for stock exchange member clearing accounting system would be the accomplishment that brought me into a mainstream of the technology. So I always remember that because that was a breakthrough for me. Na? I was doing coding in teams, for teams, but complete product development and leading that product and then selling that product to the members of Karachi Stock Exchange was one of my breakthroughs. I always say that was my turning point.
राइट सर सही तो सर जैसे आईटी itself is a very evolving या dynamic field I would say और with the innovation of I would say new things AI जब से आ गया things have changed very much so how do you stay updated with the latest trends or market technologies and everything that is going on in the market.
As I said, it is a very innovative field, so you have to be up to date by visiting and by participating in the events where the new technology is being discussed. Like in
Because
Pakistan, I would say I go to IDCN, I go to Disrupt, I go to the other events that are being conducted by the technology fraternities, and I talk to people. Number two, you have to go to different international events so that you get the idea how the world is thinking about it. Not just sitting here and back in Pakistan, it won't be enough. For learning it is, but to get yourself involved in that, you
right.
must go out there, visit those arenas, look at and meet at people who are presenting their solutions to the problem, and then you will learn.
राइट ओके सो सर मैं यहाँ पे आपसे पूछना चाहूँगी कि काम के अलावा व्हाट आर सम ऑफ योर हॉबीज और इंटरेस्ट दैट यू आर पैशनेट अबाउट.
It's always been sports. People here in Pakistan all play cricket. I started with hockey. I played cricket, and nowadays I am playing golf. So that to keep myself uh, in achieving things, in knowing things, and again learning things. So
राइट
other than this, I do that.
बिल्कुल सही तो सर व्हाट वुड यू वांट टू एडवाइस टू पीपल हु वुड बी लुकिंग एट यू या उन लोगों को हु आर ट्राइंग टू बिल्ड देयर करियर टुवर्ड्स द आईटी फील्ड.
Well, I will say keep up your curiosity intact, learn new things, but for learning new things, there is a process. You have to learn, then you have to unlearn, and then you have to relearn that. Like
बिल्कुल सही.
I come from a era where analog to digital transformation was done. So my thought
राइट
process still suffers from that. If you'll give me a problem, I'll think about an analog solution to that. But after that, I will have to think and unlearn that and rethink that how a Gen Z or a millennium, post millennium would be thinking about it. And since they have not seen any analog solutions, so they must be thinking digitized solution for that, digitalization solution for that. So I relearn myself, and then I would suggest to people to learn the unlearning concept and get out from the
बिल्कुल सही.
biases that we have about like confirmation bias, the anchoring bias that pulls you back and stops you from learning. To keep up the learning work.
ठीक हो गया. Thank you for these advices, sir. Lastly, I would want you to describe your experience with CxO Global Forum.
Well, I was watching this forum grow right back from 2016. The first time I was contacted by uh, um, Kamal Saab through we used to meet in small meets, especially in INSEAD. I think I met him first. So I think very good effort. What you people have achieved by making a community here in Pakistan and globally that brings the all leaders together and makes them interact with each other and exchange ideas. So I will say hats off to Mr. Kamal Mansoor and the whole community for that.
Right. Thank you for your feedback, sir. Done with this short interaction here, sir. Thank you so much for your time. I hope that our viewers would be able to learn from you as much as possible from you and your experience. Thank you once again for pulling out time for this discussion.
Thank you very much for make me participate in this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Take care.